Black Ops 7 Zombies is adding 66 total augments to both new and returning perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades. And that is just the start. Because in addition to all of these new augments, they have made some pretty substantial changes to the augment system. On top of that, they are tweaking a whole lot of returning augments. So let's start small. What can we expect in Black Ops 7? Well, there will be 24 different types of enhancements. Now, enhancements is their word for perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades. So whenever you hear enhancements, just think perks, ammo mods, or field upgrades. It's actually pretty efficient, and I really hope that this word sticks because I like saying a whole lot more than perks, ammo mods, and field upgrades. For our perks, we are going to have every single perk in Black Ops 6 carrying forward to Black Ops 7, plus the brand new Whisp Tea. For ammo mods, it's a different story. We have the brand new Fireworks, but we only have Brainrot, Napalm Burst, Shadow Rift, Deadwire, and Cryo Freeze. Notably missing is Light Mend and Shatter Blast. For our field upgrades, we have the brand new Toxic Growth, but we only have Dark Flare, Healing Aura, Frenzied Guard, Energy Mine, and Aether Shroud. Noticeably missing Tesla Storm, Frost Blast, and Mr. Peaks. But don't worry, they're not gone forever. And no, they're not being drip fed either. Instead, all of these post-launch ammo mods and field upgrades are expected to return at Season 1 or during Season 1. And I think that phrasing is very important, during Season 1. It doesn't say at the launch of Season 1, it just says during Season 1. So that could be literally the last day of Season 1. If they put all of this in here, then technically it would still be during Season 1. I would love to know the technical reason why this is. Obviously, these are all of the DLC ammo mods and field upgrades, so I'm sure there's something to that. I just don't know. But outside of that, every one of these enhancements arrives with a set of augments to unlock and use. Some returning augments have received tuning changes and tweaks, so forget some of what you know and prepare to learn some new tricks. For each returning enhancement, expect 6 augments from Black Ops 6, plus 2 brand new augments, 1 major and 1 minor. Black Ops 6 augment research continues with all completed augment unlocks for every returning enhancement accessible in Black Ops 7, which just means that we are not going to need to re-research any of these enhancements or augments, which I think is a good thing. Now, here's the crazy part. Unlock all 8 augments in your research diagram, and you can then unlock the extra slot minor augment, which enables you to equip a second minor augment in-game. Therefore, once you fully research a specific enhancement in Black Ops 7, you have a total of 8 augments, with 3 being active during a match, 1 major and 2 minor. The amount of build crafting that we're about to do in Black Ops 7, you guys are not ready for. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're going to want to. This is going to get pretty crazy this year. Now, there are a lot of really good general changes to how some of these augments work. For example, round preservation. Anytime an augment enables an enemy to be charmed, think brain rot, charmed zombies now avoid killing the last zombie in the round. Especially helpful if you're training an enemy while investigating a map more closely. So no more brain rot turning the round. This is fantastic. But it gets even better because they buffed big game. All big game augments for ammo mods will receive a buff to damage or frequency that they trigger. And they say Brain Rot and Napalm Burst will now charm or burn enemies more frequently. As an example, I have been asking for this since I've been doing my augment testing in Black Ops 6, and this is such a great quality of life change. Hopefully it's actually worth it. We will definitely be testing it. Area of effectiveness. Damage types without a hit location, like Deadwire's Lightning Strike, are no longer automatically considered critical hits. This also affects equipment and traps. I honestly don't understand what this means entirely. I don't know what damage types without a hit location. The only thing I can think of is obviously Deadwire's Lightning Strike and the oil trap strategy. Now all that means is we're not going to be able to cheese headshots anymore with these certain weird nuanced augments and abilities, I guess, which is fine. One shot, one chance. Augments that operate on a per shot influence regarding ammunition, or weapons that have multiple pellets or an area of effect damage, now have a very small cooldown so as not to make them overwhelmingly effective for those weapons. Augments include Dead Again and Critical Eye. So all this means is that even though the shotgun has multiple pellets, each pellet, at least in Black Ops 6, would have a chance to trigger these augments. They're changing it so that instead of per pellet, it's actually per shot. And that applies to like an area of effect damage like the explosive GS-45s. You're only gonna get a roll or a chance to activate these augments with one shot instead of multiple pellets or multiple zombies with that area of effect. Little bit of a nerf. I don't think it was all that necessary, but it is what it is. We'll test it out. We'll see just how effective it is. There's also this enhanced health. I've read it a couple times. The most you can raise your health is plus 100 health above your current health maximum by combined augment effects like Juggernog's Probiotic and the Stim Shot equipment. I'm sure that'll make sense once we get our hands in the game. My brain can't comprehend it right now. Overheal. This is actually really cool. Employ specific tactics and you can increase your health still further. This bonus to your health is temporary, meaning unlike your regular regular health that does not regenerate over time. The bonus is lost once your current health drops below the normal maximum, but it can be temporarily reacquired. And we will see certain augments that have that overhealing effect. And before we get into perks, we have to talk about der Wonderfizz, because there's been two pretty heavy changes. First of all, the base purchase price of perks is based on previously purchased perks. What a tongue twister. And increases to the price now don't include ones you may have obtained for free. So all that means is that the perks will only increase in price once you purchase a perk. If you get one for free, it will not increase the price of the perk, which I think is a decent quality life change. In Black Ops 6, der Wonderfizz machines became available at round 25. In Black Ops 7, the arrival of a Wonderfizz machine is dependent on you and your teammates. It now also arrives after a certain number of perks have been bought, including repurchases by all players. Now, the exact number I'm honestly not that confident in, because during this creator call, they showed us a slide of how this works, but the wording was a little bit weird. So I think for solo, it's going to be 4 perks, but then for multiplayer, I don't know. We'll have to find out. I'm sorry. Now that we're done with the general changes, let's talk about the perks. Starting with the brand new Whisp Tea. Drink to summon a companion wisp after killing zombies. This perk specializes in adding a protective ethereal creature that remains near the player, appearing only after the player inflicts a large amount of damage to the enemy. Use of field upgrades, equipment, and other high damage items quickens the summoning. Once summoned, the wisp begins to slay nearby zombies for around 30 seconds. 2 minutes later, it can be summoned again. The wisp is summoned after defeating a number of zombies. The number is important rather than speed of slaying, though obviously the wisp will appear more quickly if the enemies are killed with haste. The wisp targets all zombie types indiscriminately. The wisp also realizes the importance of turning around and will refrain from killing the last zombie remaining. For its major augments, we have the Mask of Wrath. The demon does more damage. The Mask of Salvation. The fox can revive you while it's active. This can be done up to 3 times per match. The Mask of Distraction. The monkey attracts enemies and does damage in an area. So cool, the monkey acts like a monkey bomb. The Mask of Benevolence. The maiden does not attack, but will periodically heal you. For its minor augments, we have Extension, increase the wisp's lifetime, Haste, decrease the cooldown before a wisp can be summoned, Zombie Sitter, the wisp will attract and avoid damaging the last zombie in the round until the round times out, and Fetcher, the wisp will pick up items and power-ups for you, aside from the nuke. For those of us who love Black Ops 4 zombies, yes, this is basically the new and improved Blood Wolf Bite. Although this has so many more abilities than Blood Wolf Bite even dreamed of having, it fits so well with Black Ops 6. It's a very good support perk. I am really excited to get my hands on it. Moving on to a Juggernog. Increase maximum health from 100 to 250. Now, I think we've agreed that this might just be a typo, because in Black Ops 6, we spawn in with 150 health and tier 1 armor. But here in Black Ops 7, this makes me think that we're spawning in with only 100 health, which makes sense if we still have tier 1 armor. That actually makes us a little bit more vulnerable, and that might increase the difficulty of those early rounds. So if this is true, that's a change that I think I could get behind. Now, that's not the only change we have to jug. We have a lot of the similar augments here. Probiotic is going to get you that 300 health, but Turtle Shell has been adjusted. Armor acts as a shield on your back, completely absorbing damage to your rear. The adjustment is armor now completely absorbs damage to your back, while also now allowing normal damage mitigation to your front. This is going to make Turtle Shell so valuable, because you're going to be fully immune from your back and have normal damage mitigation to your front. Now, I don't know if that means just tier 1 damage mitigation, like that normal word might just be, hey, tier 1 basic, you spawn in with tier 1 damage mitigation? Or does that mean like when you get tier 3 armor, you have tier 3 armor, but you just also are immune from your back? That would be really awesome. Now, somebody in my Discord link in the description pointed out that this is going to be weird, because now when you get hit from the front, your armor is going to degrade. So how does that affect the durability of Turtle Shell? Because Turtle Shell had a secret ability of more durability to your armor, which is one of the reasons why I liked it. Plus, now we're going to need to replate our armor if every single time we get hit from anywhere, we're going to take some armor damage, which is a really big deal in regards to Turtle Shell. So this is an interesting change. I think it's going to be really powerful, but not without its balancing factors for sure. I am still a Turtle Shell fanboy. But the new major augment for Jug is Iron Core. Your health is increased when all of your armor plates are broken. This is fantastic. In Black Ops 6 and Cold War, if you don't have any armor, especially on high rounds like 50 plus, you're like a 2 or 3 hit down. It's incredibly unbalanced, so I think this is a great augment for those super high training strategies. For the minor augments, they reduced the damage mitigation from hardened plates. They did say just slightly though. Now at first this is kind of sad, but we can equip 2 of these minor augments now, so that might be good. Plus that might be better for a more consistent user experience, and they can more accurately tune the damage to the player. The new minor augment is Shake It Off. Incoming damage will occasionally be significantly reduced, and I wonder if that minor augment sort of cancels out the hardened plates nerf. So again, lots of stuff to test out. PhD has been changed a little bit. In Black Ops 6, Dr. Ram previously required tactical sprinting, but now just sprinting into normal enemies damage and knocks them down. It is limited to a short burst, and it does also work when you're tac sprinting, which we'll get to later, but I think that's a much stronger buff than a lot of people might think. They also reduced the effectiveness of side swiping with PhD slider. They want this augment to trigger when impact occurs during the direction of travel. So instead of sliding by a zombie and PhD slider activating, you have to actually hit them, which I think is pretty fair. The new major augment is Double Whammy. Release a second explosion shortly after the first one, which sounds honestly pretty fun. They did also nerf Tribologist. Ever so slightly, they say, so again, we'll test that out. But I kind of agree with them here because Tribologist was a very, very strong augment, and it would be nice if people used more Environmentalist, and the brand new one, Stuntman, wall jumping creates an explosion. That's going to be a very interesting one to test in terms of range and effectiveness. Moving on to Elemental Pop. Finally, no major adjustments, we just have Rainbow Pop. Weapons with an ammo mod equipped have a chance to deal the elemental damage that an enemy is weak to. Now what this means is, say I'm fighting a Mangler with Deadwire on my gun. Manglers are weak to fire damage, so me using Deadwire means I'm not going to deal elemental damage, unless I'm running Rainbow Pop, in which case no matter what ammo mod I have, so long as I have an ammo mod, I have a chance to deal the elemental damage to the Mangler, which depending on how common that is, that could be a really good one. For the minor augments, they did nerf Vulnerbean. They said the increased elemental weakness damage has been lessened by a modest amount, which is so sad to see. I didn't have a problem with Vulnerbean, but again, we'll see how effective it is. Let's not overreact. The new minor augment is Refreshment. Killing a special or elite enemy with its elemental weakness resets your elemental pop cooldown. This sounds like it could be really good paired up with Chill Berry. Moving on to melee Macchiato, it probably got the most adjustments. The damage of the punch continues to increase until round 30. The punch itself is faster, and there will be different damage multipliers depending on the melee weapon you use. Between all of those changes, this is basically a new and improved melee Macchiato, especially with the new major augment, Mocha Mall. The punch is replaced with your dedicated melee weapon. This is phenomenal. Ooh, I wonder how that would work with the swords. Ooh, that's really cool. In terms of minor augments, they actually buffed the strength training. Specifically, the number of rounds you can one-hit kill normal enemies has been increased, and the new minor augment is Barista Brawl. Gain more essence from melee kills. Big problem in Black Ops 6, they didn't award you with more points for melee kills, and that fixes that. Vulture Aid, you're gonna love this one. The brand new major augment is Armormatic. Picking up an armor plate automatically applies it to your vest. So many people have been asking about this. The biggest issue a lot of people have with the armor system in Black Ops 6 is the fact that you have to spam the triangle or armor plate button, and it just gets annoying. Personally, I don't have that problem. I love it. I think it's a skill thing, but this is literally the best of both worlds. Now you have to be careful because even if you take one measly hit of armor damage and then you run over an armor plate, it's gonna waste that armor plate refilling your armor. So use this wisely. Unfortunately for the minor augments, they did nerf Picky Eater by decreasing the chance of dropping your current equipment. They say slightly, again, we'll retest it. The new minor augment is Extra Serving. Special and elite enemies you kill have a chance to drop a large essence vial. Depending on how frequent that is, that could be really good for early game progression. Moving on to Double Tap. The new major augment is Double Dealer. Every fourth bullet in your weapon magazine deals double damage. Essentially, this is just a 25% increase in your DPS, which honestly, pretty darn good. The new minor augment is Double Down. Bullet weapons have increased penetration damage through enemies. Now, in one of my videos, I said this was like FMJ, but FMJ allows you to collateral more zombies. I don't know if it changes the amount of damage that you deal through other zombies, but that seems to be what this is talking about, which is going to really help high rounds. And now that we can have two minor augments, pairing this with an increase in rate of fire, or double or nothing, or double play, dude, Double Tap is awesome. Moving on to Quick Revive. EMT. Players with this augment now keep up to 5 of their perks when revived, and equivalent exchange is big. They buffed this hard. If you have Quick Revive while downed, killing an enemy will revive you. This can be done up to 3 times. But now, you always go into your last stand pose, Quick Revive is no longer removed on use, and you keep all perks if you kill an enemy while down. Goodbye Dying Wish. Hello equivalent exchange. So Dying Wish, if you take lethal damage, you'll go into Dying Wish and you'll lose quick revive, but with equivalent exchange, you will go down, but if you kill a zombie, you will have all of your perks including quick revive. This might actually be too strong. Maybe they can remove quick revive. I feel like that might bounce it out, but hey, you know what? Keeping all of our perks, I ain't gonna complain. This is gonna be really good. The new major augment is Adrenaline Rush. Killing a special or elite enemy will start your health regeneration. For the new minor augment, you have Emergency Medical Kit. You can now craft a self-revive kit up to 4 times. So a pretty strong buff to quick revive. But moving on to Deadshot. That again has that nerf where there's a slight cooldown added, but we knew that before. The new major augment is Dead to Rights. Bullets deal bonus damage to enemies within point blank range. This is very interesting depending on how increased this damage is. And it doesn't say critical damage, it just says damage. Now, somebody on my Discord said that could be really good for melee weapons, except for the fact it says bullets. Very heartbreaking, but probably good for balance. The new minor augment is Dead Heat. Temporarily increase your movement speed after getting a point blank kill. Lots of stuff that increase your movement speed in these new augments. Very interesting for speedrunners. Death Perception. Again, with Critical Eye, they did add a slight cooldown to that. And the new major augment is Sixth Sense. See enemies close behind you and take less damage from behind. Now, depending on how much less damage, that could do wonders for your armor durability, especially paired with Turtle Shell now. This might be my new main. And for the minor augment, we have Hidden Gems. Death Perception can now see loot. So unfortunately, they didn't save Death Perception from being Death Perception. It's okay, I'll still love you. For Stamin Up, they did change Dasher. This enables Tack Sprint with increased duration. So if you want Tack Sprint, you'll run Dasher. If you don't, you don't. It's the best of both worlds. The new major augment is Guns Up, fire while sprinting. This seems simple, but I think for high round training, this is gonna be big. You're being chased by super sprinters, you wanna put more damage, as much damage as you can on the horde. Being able to sprint backward is gonna be huge, especially paired with the new minor augment Footwork. Increase non-forward sprinting speed. Why was this not an augment in Black Ops 6? It makes so much sense with Omni Movement. This is awesome. I am so excited to high round train in Black Ops 7. And it's crazy, we're gonna be playing this game in less than a week. I hope they allow us to use these augments. Moving on to Speed Cola. The new major augment is Ammo Surge. Gain a burst of speed when initiating a reload. Again, I wonder how common this is. Does it work every time? How are speedrunners gonna take advantage of this? How much faster does it get? I love it. And the new minor augment is whatever that says. Reloading has a chance to not use stock ammo. This ability was actually an elixir in Black Ops 4 called Phantom Reload. Really cool to see its return here. Which brings us to ammo mods. And they really haven't changed anything from ammo mods. You apply an ammo mod, there's a certain chance it'll activate, they deal elemental damage, and then it goes into a cooldown. But our new ammo mod is Fireworks, back from Black Ops 3. This ammo mod is as brightly colored as it is deadly, filling the air above and illuminating the nearby combat zone in a fiery light show, leading to a series of firework explosions that detonate and rip the undead apart in a vivid display of wanton violence. As the initial explosive light show has occurred, damaging zombies caught in the vicinity, stars are launched into the skies before exploding. The subsequent explosion launches a set of individual fireworks from the stars that fly out and hone in on additional random threats within the general vicinity. The chance of fireworks activating depends on the enemy type, and once the light show's over, expect a small cooldown window. Major augments, we have Big Game. Fireworks can activate on elite enemies, creating a bigger light show. Starburst. Fireworks explode immediately, sending flares through enemies in all directions. Weeping Willow. Instead of targeting enemies, the flares will land on the ground and explode for a while. Fire Wheel. Create 2 fire wheels that spin around and damage enemies. I love the sound of all of these. Minor augments. Starlight. Fireworks launches more flares. Big Bang. Firework flares deal more damage to special and elite enemies. High Yield. Increase the area of effect. Short Fuse. Fireworks cooldown is reduced. All of these make it sound way more powerful than it was back in Black Ops 3, and I couldn't be happier. Taking a look at the regular ammo mods now, we have Brain Rot that has been adjusted to preserve the turn. They're not going to kill the last zombie, which is great. Big Game is also more effective, but the new major augment is Caustic Fumes. Charmed enemies deal toxic damage to nearby enemies. And the new minor augment is Super Serum, increase the damage dealt by charmed enemies. Moving on to Napalm Burst, again, that Big Game has been buffed, but the new major augment is Petroleum. Napalm Burst leaves a pool of fire on the ground. Sounds very similar to a Molotov. For the minor augments, we have Backdraft, increase the activation radius. Moving on to Shadow Rift, once again we have the big game buff, and the new major augment is Gravity Well. Shadow Rift becomes a black hole that pulls in enemies before teleporting away nearby enemy survivors. And the new minor augment is Ammo Theorem. Teleporting enemies away adds ammo to your weapon magazine from stock. I really want to retest Shadow Rift because I want it to be a lot better than what it is, and I think this new Gravity Well major augment might just be that. Moving to Deadwire, obviously big game buffed again, but we have Ball Lightning as the new major augment. Activating Deadwire launches an orb that deals electric damage to nearby enemies as it moves. That sounds a whole lot like that Dark Flare augment, and that sounds really fun. And the new minor augment is Aftershock. Enemies that are stunned by Deadwire have a chance to spread to nearby enemies. Cryo Freeze saw a little bit of a nerf to the best major augment, Ice Cloud. Unfortunately, a small cooldown has been employed to adjust and lessen the number of ice clouds appearing. For those of you who don't know, Ice Cloud is basically Zombshell, and it was so much better. But again, I'm going to try not to overreact. We'll test it out again and see how strong it is. They did also buff Big Game. And the new major augment is Cold Company. Cryo Freeze has a chance to activate on more than one enemy at a time. And the minor augment is Thermal Shock. Enemies are damaged once they're unfrozen. Moving on to field upgrades, they actually did a pretty substantial change. Field upgrades have lower charge costs earlier in the matches, meaning that it's going to take less kills for you to charge up your field upgrade. But expect to slay a small additional number of enemies before activation as the rounds progress. And each additional use will have a slightly increased cost to fully charge. So every time you use a field upgrade, it's going to take more kills to recharge it. As a balancing factor, I love this. We got to test it out. We got to see how strong or weak it is, but I love that strategy in using a field upgrade. It means you can't just spam it. You've got to use it wisely. And we have the glorious return of Toxic Growth. Summon a deadly growth of thorns in front of you. This is obviously meant to block pathways or incoming enemies. It deals toxic damage. Enemies that move through Toxic Growth are slowed and poisoned and torn apart, as the Toxic Growth weakens before finally disintegrating after time or after inflicting a set amount of damage. Toxic Growths don't harm you or your teammates, and we're not allowed more than 3 Toxic Growths in the map at once. For the first major augment, Toxic Growth takes up a wider area and enemies that enter the growth continue to be slowed after leaving it. Core Deception. The first normal or special enemy to walk into the growth is entangled and charmed, attacking other enemies that enter. Basically a free brain rot. Pollination. Enemies killed by the growth explode, dealing toxic damage to nearby enemies and slowing them. Zookery. The first normal or special enemy to walk into the growth becomes the Toxic Growth itself. That doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me, but I'm excited to try it. For our minor augments, we have Ankle Shredder. Enemies moving through the growth are even slower. Green Thumb. Significantly increase the Toxic Growth health. Extra Charge. Increase the max charges by 1. Plant Food. Killing enemies with Toxic Growth has a chance to drop healing fruit. I imagine that's going to be part of the Overheal ability. Dark Flare. Dark Pact got a buff. Beam heals and revives other players on contact, and the revive speed has been increased to ensure down players are revived more rapidly. This is a very underrated augment of Dark Flare, great for public matches. The new major augment is Muzzle Blast. The beam now deals additional damage in a cone in front of you, and the new minor augment is Dusk Flame. Enemies that are hit by the beam are dealt additional shadow damage over time. Once again, I love this field upgrade, can't wait to try out all of these new things. Healing Aura, you guys are gonna like this one. The new major augment is Necromancer. Healing Aura can now revive dead allies. So if you have a friend who bled out, you can bring them back to life without the need to turn around with a Healing Aura activation. The new minor augment is Cornucopia. Affected players get a health overcharge. Moving on to Frenzied Guard. The new major augment is Fists of Frenzied. While Frenzied, annihilate enemies with your fists. And the new minor augment is Dual Layer. While Frenzied Guard is active, armor durability is increased. There's a lot of love for Frenzied Guard. I don't use it all too much, but I'm excited to try it out with our melee builds. Energy Mine. The new major augment is Smart Mine. Energy Mine has more detonations and waits for multiple enemies to be in range for each detonation. And the new minor augment is Recycle. A deployed energy mine can be recycled for field upgrade charge. And finally, we have everybody's favorite Aether Shroud, with a new major augment called After Image. Distract enemies with a dark ether clone of yourself. And the final new minor augment is Impulse. Deal shadow damage to enemies on activation and increase your movement speed during Aether Shroud. Now, speedrunners, you can take advantage of this, especially with 2 minor augments, you're going to want to pair that up with extra charge for even more movement increases. Which ammo mod, perk, or field upgrade should I review first? I really want to get to every single one of these enhancements this year, and I will be retesting literally everything. So which ones are you most excited to see? And what augment combinations are you most excited to try? And if you are hungry for even more exclusive information about Black Ops 7 Zombies, I have an enormous video covering literally everything, including exclusive information I got from going to a creator call and talking to the devs myself. Be sure to check out that video here, and as always, stay beautiful.